Hello, my name is Alana, and today we are going to be honoring and perhaps maybe even awakening the divine or sacred feminine energy in all of us. So this class will be slower paced, more nurturing. Yeah, really, I invite you to take your time, accept yourself, and join me for this flow. So the term Shakti is in the Hindu tradition for the feminine energy. Well, if you translate it directly, it refers to power. And then this is the divine energy that goes into creation, maintenance, and then even destruction. This is linked to the feminine energy because of women's ability to be able to give birth. So that is where creation comes in. And it's responsible for the more subtle, softer side within us. So this class is beginner friendly, and you are going to need, or perhaps maybe just have 2 blocks nearby. You can also perhaps, if you have a bolster or pillows or anything soft to also support you, maybe just have that handy nearby where you're going to practice. And then we can start our practice in child's pose. So start from sitting on your knees like I am now, and you can either stay right here or you can move your knees, so open them up to the sides of your mat. Notice that your toes are still touching, bum rooted firmly to your heels. Slowly lower down all the way until your forehead touches the mat. Now we are still starting our class and warming up, so feel free to take your arms behind you. Maybe just resting your hands, palms up on the mat behind you. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you are more than welcome to come up, maybe close or open your legs a little bit more, and then go down again. In your child's pose, notice how it feels where you are connected to the earth. So your forehead, your back of your hands, your tops of your feet, your shins, all of the points of contact. How does it feel to be heavy on the earth fully supporting the weight of your body? How does your mind feel today? Your mood, your energy? What is your breath doing? Just notice where you are and what you are bringing onto your mat today. Know that the 4 corners of your mat is your safe space for today, so you will only be moving around within this 4 corners, and whatever you do, you are safe. Also notice that child's pose or balasana is a resting pose, so whenever during this practice you feel like your body calls for it or you need it, feel free to take a child's pose. Then I'm going to invite you to slowly try to deepen your breath. So make your inhales a little fuller, using up more of your lungs, opening the chest. Maybe feel how your chest expands onto the floor, and make your exhale a little bit longer, still keeping it smooth. So every single inhale, sip in a little bit more air, and every single exhale, make it a second longer if you can. Then maybe perhaps try to go even deeper and breathe into and through your pelvic floor. So breathe into your pelvic floor and then exhale the air from there out. Obviously biologically you can't breathe into your pelvic floor, but when you bring awareness to that, your body does respond to it, and the blood flow and so on. So continue breathing in this way. Maybe also notice how this makes you feel. Your pelvic floor is your powerhouse for your feminine energy. So we're really tapping into that today. Then whenever you are ready, just come back to a normal breathing pattern. Easy in and easy out. Also know that throughout this practice you can drink water or wipe your face at any time. And I invite you to be gentle and kind with your body today. Okay, whenever you're ready, you can slowly roll up from your child's pose and meet me in a sitting position. From here, we move into our tabletop. So you're going to align your wrists underneath your shoulders, underneath your elbow, all of them in a straight line, and then put your knees directly underneath your hips. Your knees should be hips width distance apart, and if you're unsure about that distance, it should be about 2 fists that you can fit in between your knees. Okay, then in your tabletop, first maybe just do some intuitive movements. So what feels good for you today? Maybe moving from side to side, warming up the spine a bit, maybe moving back to child's pose and coming up, maybe doing some body rolls or circles. Our feminine energy is behind our intuition. So don't just move in the same way I am moving. I mean, this is an online video, so no one can see you. Maybe close your eyes and really feel into what your body wants and needs today. And whenever you are ready, you can meet me in a neutral tabletop. Make sure that your fingers are spread nice and wide apart. You are gripping into your mat, and then we'll do a few cat-cows. So inhale, belly to the floor, shoulder blades together, look up. Exhale, chin to chest, dome into your upper back and squeeze your hips forward. Inhale for cow and exhale for cat. Really push yourself away from the mat here. And you can continue doing these for a few rounds in your own breath. So move with your breath. Inhale, belly down, shoulders back, chest open. Exhale, push through the mat, head, chin to chest, hips forward, rounding your back. And when you've had enough of this, you can meet me in a neutral spine. Next, you can step your left and your right foot back into a high plank, and then from here, exhale, move your hips up to the sky and meet me in your first downward dog of the day. Again, invite whatever movement your body needs here. So maybe pedaling out your legs, maybe rolling forward into plank and up into down dog a few times, maybe moving side to side. I'm just giving you a few ideas here, but please feel free to do whatever your body calls for. This is also a resting posture, so feel free to, if you want to skip out on any of the postures but you don't want to do a pose as passive as Alanasana, you can just chill in a down dog as well. Remember to keep breathing. When you're ready, on your next inhale, lift your left leg up to the sky, rise onto your right tippy toes, and then exhale, step that foot on the outside of your hand. So your heel is on your mat, your toes are slightly off. Then here, again, move freely, maybe from side to side. Whatever feels good. Maybe placing that back knee down, straightening and bending into this front leg. We're going to warm up into the hips. We'll be doing quite a few hip openers in today's practice. So we're starting off warming them up, feeling into them, waking them up a bit. Okay, if your knee isn't already on the floor, your back knee, you can place it on the floor. Then we'll, in an inhale, halfway lift, so straighten your spine, look up. Inhale and exhale, soften. So maybe just bend the elbows a bit. Maybe take your blocks. This class is supposed to be a supported, nurturing class, so please use your blocks. There's no judgment. Don't force yourself to go further than you know your body can. Please use props if you have them. And then we'll just totally chill and surrender here. So every single exhale become a little bit heavier. Your head is hanging heavy, so crown of your head to the floor. And notice what you feel here. Maybe some emotions will arise. Even when you decide to not feel anything and just keep pushing your emotions down, that tension stays in your body, and the emotions quite like, especially the more negative emotions, they quite like to stay in our hips. So when we do hip openers like this, sometimes you'll feel these things come to the surface, and that's okay. Just notice them. Remember to breathe as slowly and deeply as you can. Maybe you want to again breathe into your pelvic floor. This is totally up to you. Once you've been here for a while and you feel like you've relaxed into it a bit more, feel free to lower the level on your block or perhaps take it away. Also know that that's completely optional. Just feel into your body. We'll stay here for 2 or 3 more moments. How relaxed and soft can you feel in this pose? Can you fall asleep here? Then whenever you're ready, coming back up onto the hands, tuck that back toe, lift the knee away from the mat, step back into plank, and then bum up to the sky, downward facing dog. Maybe shake your head out, yes, no. Just making sure that there's no extra unneeded tension in your head or your neck. And then we'll do the other side. So inhale, left leg up, come onto the right tippy toes and step it outside of your left hand. First, move in whichever way feels good to you, or your body calls for today. Maybe your body actually calls for stillness, and I urge you to listen to that as well. And whenever you're ready, meeting me in the middle, so back knee down onto the mat. Inhale again for a halfway lift with a straight spine, and then exhale, soften. Again, feel welcome to use your blocks. Maybe notice if this side feels different to the other side. Sometimes one side of our body does hold on to tension a bit more than the other side. And that is okay too. Our feminine energy is responsible for our body awareness and then also for acceptance. So body acceptance, how does my body look, how does my body move? Yeah, just total acceptance. So with every single exhale here, try to really surrender and accept wherever you are today. Maybe your body isn't where you want it to be, maybe you don't look the way you want to, maybe this side isn't the same as the other side, maybe your body isn't at the same place it was yesterday. Wherever you find yourself today, with every single exhale, try to accept it. Send your body a little bit of love. Once again, once you feel you warmed up enough, you're welcome to lower a bit further into this posture. Note that we're not forcing anything here, so the moment you can't breathe deeply anymore or you start to feel any discomfort in this pose is okay. Pain is definitely not. So if you feel any pain, come out of it. We're not here to boost our egos. Then once you're ready, lifting back up onto the hands, lift that back knee off of the mat, step back into plank, and then downward facing dog. We'll stay here for a few breaths, keeping the pace of this class slow and steady. So maybe here you can push through your hands, so spread your fingers wide, maybe even lifting the middle knuckles of your hands a little bit so you can really grip into your mat, and then push your chest towards your thighs. Maybe lift your bum up a little bit high into the sky, and once you feel that, maybe try to melt the heels towards the floor, all while still breathing deeply and evenly. In your next inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky, and then exhale, knee to wrist, and then place your leg out to the side. So then you can either move your foot so it's 90 degrees, or 90 degrees or exactly parallel with your mat, or you can take a little bit in, whatever, it's up to you. Note that this hip is off of the floor. If you need some support, feel free to place a block underneath this bum here, because we want our hips to be square and to both face forward. So my whole body's facing forward, I'm not sitting like this. Okay, make sure if you look over your back shoulder that your back leg is straight. Inhale, long, and then we're going to go into mermaid. So maybe you do want to support yourself. Mermaid isn't not necessarily accessible to everyone, but let's see how far we can go. If you are unsure or not super familiar with this pose, maybe put that block underneath your bum. Okay, we'll bend into our back knee, lift this leg up, that's step one. Then if you can, maybe reach your hand back and try to catch the foot. So your left arm, you're catching the foot on the inside. Once you have that, and you can still relatively look forward, maybe bend your elbow, bend your knee, and let your leg slide into the crook of your elbow. If this is where you stay, that's cool. If you stay at the previous step, that's also cool. And then once you're here, the final step in mermaid is lifting this hand up and taking a bind. So you see here, my body wants to come a little bit to the side, but it's okay, just keep pushing your hips forward. And then you can release whenever you are ready. It's quite intense on this side body and this front thigh. That's where I felt it. Maybe you felt it someplace else. Okay, then release this block from underneath your bum. Inhale again into pigeon. Maybe try to equalize the weight a bit, sit a bit deeper, feel this into our hips. And then exhale, tuck these back toes and step back into downward facing dog. Let's repeat that on the other side. So inhale, left leg up, exhale, knee to wrist, and then slide your back leg back so that you can sit here. Another test to see if your hips are square and whether you need a block or not is, can you lift your hands off from the mat and stay relatively stable? This is also for that bind, because then obviously your hands aren't on your mat. So if you need your hands to stay here, maybe rather put that block in underneath your left bum. Okay, so maybe just sit here. This is where you stay, that's cool too. For you, I would maybe give another option of going down and mount into it, as we did with lizard just now, if this is where you are. Otherwise, just sit here. Next step, bend into this leg. Well, first only that, then maybe take this hand back, grab the inside of your foot. Once you're here and you can't quite get it into the elbow, but you just want to work on it, maybe just try bending your arm. So we're not grabbing our foot, and there's softness here. We can move, okay? Bending your arm, and then see if you can maybe get your toes into that little elbow crack. And then once you're here, last step is taking that bind. Now, feminine energy is responsible for our feelings, our emotional expressions, sensations, our presence, and our heart, essentially. So this is a heart opener. See that my chest is opening up? So we are getting into, tapping into that feminine energy. When you're ready, release it on this side, release the block from under your bum if you had it there, tuck your back toe and step it back to downward facing dog. This is your chance to get back to your breathing. If maybe you lost it somewhere along the way, have a little check-in with yourself. How are you feeling? How's your body feeling? Is there tension anywhere? Then maybe in this down dog, you can try to spread your shoulder blades apart, like you did in that cat pose. Maybe feel what that does for you. And whenever you're ready, right leg up to the sky, bend the knee, open the hip. So you're trying to touch your bum with your ankle with your bum. And then really aim that knee up to the ceiling. Notice that this top shoulder is going to want to open up. So look underneath your left shoulder, then you can square it off. Your back heel is down. Then once you're ready, you can step over into Wild Thing. So your right knee is bent, left leg straight. Open the arm up and then turn your torso and your arm towards the front. If this is too chill for you and you want to go into wheel, you're more than welcome. You'll know if this is you. Otherwise, stay here. Just feel the heart opening. Can you still breathe deeply here? And then exhale, we turn to three-legged down dog. And you can release that leg down. Maybe take a breath or two. And then the other side. So inhale, leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Look underneath your right shoulder this time. Maybe squeeze your bum, see if you can lift your knee a little higher. And when you're ready, first step over, straighten your leg, and then open your chest to the sky. Your feminine energy is responsible for your feelings, your emotional expression, your presence, and ultimately your heart. So opening your heart, really tapping into that feminine energy here. Then exhale, three-legged down dog, and release. And when you're ready, right leg up to the sky, exhale, step that foot in between your hands. We're getting ready for our standing sequence. So from here we move into half moon. Feel free to use a block here. So you'll put your right hand onto the block, then becoming light on this back foot. Maybe first take this other arm up, and you can become light on this back foot. Give one big step or maybe a few small hops in order to lift this leg up. Note that my foot is flexed and my toes are pointing to the side. My whole body is opening up to the side. This is your half moon. If this is too easy for you, you are more than welcome to try and take your gaze up to make it a bit more challenging. Look at how much I'm shaking when I try to do that. Else you can just come up, maybe lift your hand, maybe put your hands at heart center. Else you can just stay here, maybe even with the block on the highest height. Whatever is most accessible to you. So in this pose, we really realize that how we look in this pose is not really important, but our body awareness and our self-awareness is what this is really about. Then when you're ready, step your foot as far back and as slowly as you can onto your mat for warrior two. So bending into your right knee, making sure that it doesn't fall in, so you want to see your big and second toe over this knee, and opening up your arms to the side. Maybe look back for a moment, making sure that your arms are straight, and then your gaze can rest over this front middle finger. So this is quite a strong pose, but how can you soften in this? Maybe relax your shoulders away from your ears, relax your face, smile. So we are working the legs, so they can be active, but why does anything else need to be active? Next, maybe straighten this leg, turn both feet to face the corners of your mat, so 45 degrees about. Then we'll bend our knee over our feet, scoop our bum forward, and sit down for our goddess squat. So arms in cactus, meaning that we are creating a 90-degree angle with our arms, squeezing the shoulder blades together, opening the chest up a little, maybe sit a bit deeper. So the Hindu goddess Kali, she's often seen squatting like this after she won a battle. This is why it's called goddess pose. It opens up the chest, it opens up the pelvic area and the hips. And like I said before, the pelvic floor is the root of all feminine energy. So maybe tap into that power. Can you feel it? Can you feel the energy? Maybe sit down a little bit deeper. That feels good. Cool, then you can straighten your legs. Maybe move a little bit back on your mat. Feet are facing forward, or you can pigeon toe them in slightly. So when you straighten your arms here, you want your ankles to be approximately underneath your wrists. Hands on your hips, inhale, long spine, crown to the ceiling, and exhale, forward fold from the hips all the way down. You're welcome to keep a micro bend in your knees. From here, you can either keep your hands on the floor, or you can grab anywhere on the outside of your legs that you can reach. So not the knee, but the calves, the ankles. Maybe you want to grab the edges of your feet. Like I said, maybe just keep your hands here. You can also turn your hands around and walk them backwards. This pose is very good for the nervous system. We have our heads below our hearts, so it calms and relaxes us. De-stresses the body. This is again one of those where you just let gravity do its thing. Maybe move your weight a bit into your toes. And then you can come even a little bit more forward. This is quite scary if you're holding your feet, so it feels as if you're going to fall on your head. So maybe take your hands to the front.
And then from here, you are welcome to try a tripod headstand with me if you're feeling courageous today. If not, don't worry, I'll take you through it step by step. So step number one is to try and get your head as close to the floor as you can. If you can't, that's okay. Then place your hands so that if your head is on the floor, your elbows would make a 90-degree angle. So that is quite a little bit more backwards than would feel normal for you. Then if you have your head on the floor, you can just jump your legs onto your arms. Otherwise, maybe first step your legs in and place your head on the floor, because that's really where we want to start. So with that head on the floor connection. And once you have that, keep the elbows in towards each other, and then you can place your knees onto your elbows. Really push into your hands, spread your fingers. Just stay here in this little ball. Feel what it feels like. And then when you're ready, moving back into this wide-legged forward fold. Hands onto your hips. Inhale, halfway lift with a straight back. And exhale all the way up. From here, you can step to the back of your mat. And then just shake it out. Shake it out. Maybe the whole body, the arms, all of it. Just let it go. Okay. From here, we're going to roll down, walk forward into a plank, and then hips up to the sky for downward facing dog. Time to repeat this sequence on the other side. So left leg up to the sky. Inhale, step it in between your hands for runner's lunge, so your back leg is straight. Then again, using your block, placing it a little bit in front of your foot, hand onto your block, and then once you're ready, lift that foot up, and then you can spin this top hand up as well. For half moon on the left side. If you lose your balance, that is okay. Remember, the aim here is to open the heart, open the hips, open up the whole body. As long as you can feel that sensation, that's good. Then exhale, how slow and steady and far can you stay back onto your mat. Deeply bend into your front knee, open your arms to the side for warrior two. Although this is an active posture, it can be quite passive, so it can be a resting posture as well. So see if you can soften and chill here. Maybe get back to your breath. Then for that yummy goddess squat, so turning both of your feet 45 degrees, bending nice and deeply into your knees. Your knees go over your toes, so you're trying to press your knees backwards. Arms in cactus. Maybe do some intuitive movement here. So maybe straightening, bending your legs, maybe putting your arms or your hands at heart center, moving them up. Another nice one you can do is place your hands on your knees and then dip your one shoulder in and then the other one. So you can find some comfort in this pose, some creativity, fluidity, listening to your intuition. Then when you're ready, cactus arms coming up into stillness. Where can you feel this in the legs? You can feel it about everywhere. So the thighs, the inner thighs, the hamstrings, the whole of the upper leg, really working hard here. Like I said, try to connect with that pelvic floor energy. And see if instead of sitting here and counting down the seconds, breathe deeply, feel the power. And you can straighten your legs. Well done. So feet facing forward, maybe pigeon toe them in a little, and then check your wrists and your ankles. Some people like it a little bit narrower or a little wider. Obviously the wider your stance is, the easier it will be to reach the ground. Okay, inhale, hands to your hips, look up to the sky, maybe do a little back bend, and exhale, fold with a straight back, all the way down. You know what's coming, but before the headstand, let's just give this pose a breath or two, the attention that it deserves. Feel your body perhaps cooling down, your heart rate slowing. Maybe if you're holding onto your legs, you can even pull yourself closer. So you're trying to imagine getting your chest through your legs to the back of the room. And once you're ready, placing your hands on the floor. If you have your head there and you know where you're going in your headstand, feel free to do so. The benefits of headstands, the physical benefits, is insane. So again, for those not so confident in the headstand, maybe join me in a squatting position. So first place your head down. Then when you place your arms, or where your head is going to be, when you place your arms down like this, where your elbow is, that's about where your hand needs to go. So that's quite a big space. Okay, then we're making the little triangle with our heads and our hands. Again, not too wide, kind of narrow, so shoulders distance. And we're really keeping the elbows tight and in. We don't want them splaying out. Okay, so once you're comfortable here, really grip into your mat, press through the hands, tuck your toes, lift your bum up, walk yourself forward, place your knees on your arms. If you're in a ball, you can just stay here for as long as it serves you. Otherwise, really push through your hands. You don't want any tension in your neck. If you're feeling comfortable, you can lift up a little bit, or you can straighten your legs all the way. But only do that if you can keep breathing here. That is the most important. We're not stroking our egos here. Whenever you're ready, you can come out of that. Maybe take a quick child's pose, just to counter that. So the moment your body stops breathing, or you can't breathe as deeply anymore, it's a sign that you shouldn't really be there. So back off a little, rather breathe and let your body relax. Also, if you stand in a little ball in headstand, and you can keep that for 30 seconds, versus you take your feet up and you can only stay there for 2 seconds. Like, the longer you can stay upside down, the more of the benefits of it you'll reap. So perhaps don't go as far, and rather just do it in a controlled manner where you can still breathe. Even now I'm a little out of breath, but I mean, I was trying to talk as well. So yeah, when you're ready, pushing back up into a downward facing dog. Maybe feel now if you have tension anywhere in your body. How does this down dog differ to the previous down dog? Maybe let's take a clearing breath together. So inhale, deep, fill up the lungs, and exhale, open your mouth, sigh it out. Feel free to take another 1 or 2 if you think that will serve you. Once you're ready, maybe look in between your hands, and you can step, jump, or float your feet in between your hands. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend into your knees. Roll up slowly, slowly. Your head is very heavy and coming up last. All the way up. We're going to move into our balancing sequence. So maybe first take your left foot, lift the toes, spread them and ground them into your mat. Then you can lift your right leg, first just into your chest. Once you feel like you have balance here, we're going to do tree. So you can either place, well, you can actually, if you're struggling with balance, you can keep your tippy toe on the floor. Maybe even use a block if you want. Otherwise, you can put your foot just below your knee, so on your calf. Or you can go higher and put it onto your inner thigh. Whatever works for you. Okay, hands to heart center. This is our tree pose, so make sure you are looking at something ahead of you that's not moving, so something still. Your focus point or your drishti. That will help your balance. Also maybe squeezing your bum if you find balancing here difficult. This is quite a nice balance, I like it a lot. Okay, so this pose is called tree, so imagine you are a tree growing tall and long. Maybe, if you're comfortable with the balance here, you can lift your arms up. See them as branches. Then maybe your tree is swaying in the wind. Maybe not. Just feel what your tree is feeling. Have some fun here. Move with your body. If you fall out of it, just come back. Maybe grab the wall for support. Are you a slow, graceful tree? It's winter here right now, so the trees don't really have leaves. Just think of the type of tree you will be. Maybe even close your eyes if you're really courageous. This makes the balance really tricky. And when you're ready, release it all the way down. Shake out your legs if you need to. Then on the same leg, bend the knee, grab your foot from behind. So you're grabbing your foot on the inside, your thumb is facing up. Knees together, inhale, hand up. Let me actually just take a step back. I'm gonna hit that wall. Okay, inhale up, elongate the spine. Exhale, kick back into your hand. And the moment you feel an arch in your back, you can start leaning forward. Again, look at a point that's not moving. Maybe feel this back shoulder disappear. If you need the wall for support, that is okay. Struggling with balance a bit today. Be graceful with yourself. Balance isn't always the same every day. Once you're ready, slowly get out of it. Maybe shake your legs out. And we'll repeat on the other side. So grounding the right foot into the mat. Maybe just keeping the left foot here. If you are here, just on the tippy toe, then you can easily close your eyes and be a crazy tree if you want. That's also quite a nice challenge. I feel like I can almost fall over there. Otherwise, put your foot on your calf or your inner thigh, wherever you had it on the other side. If this side is completely different for some reason, that's okay too. Hands at heart center. Find your balance. This to me is a very calming and chill balance pose. We're trying to open this knee to the side. So some gentle hip opening action happening here. Once you're ready to be a tall tree, grow some branches and then maybe sway in the wind. Sway in the wind. You can be a tree for as long as you want. Maybe you are a sad tree in stillness. And then when you're ready, release it down and shake it out. Then for dance on this side, so keeping the knees relatively together, grab the foot on the inside. Then inhale, arm up. Exhale, first kick back with your foot, then lean forward. The harder you kick back with your foot, the more you'll be able to lean forward. Perhaps here you can think of some of the words that you think describes a dancer. So fluid, elegant, graceful. Maybe see if you can channel some of that. See, even I'm falling out of these things. Just have grace with yourself. Last breath here, so kick up as high as you can and then release it back down. Shaking out the legs. Next, we're going to have our toes together and our heels slightly apart. Exhale, bend the knees, sweep the hands back, and then up to frame your ears. You're welcome to keep them at heart center. This is our chair pose. So your weight is in your heels. Maybe you can even lift your toes off of the mat. Sit down a little bit deeper. Maybe try to get your ribs, the bottom of your ribs and your navel closer together. Sitting down even a little bit deeper. Firing up those legs for one last time. Maybe breathe into the pelvic floor. And exhale, forward fold. Release, maybe pedal out the legs. Then heel toe your feet to the edges of your mat, so heels on the mat, toes off of the mat. And sit down into Alanasana. Those are both of my knees. Maybe take a block here again. Put it underneath your bum. Oh, this is relaxing. I'm not really doing anything yet, especially since we've been doing all these hip openers. I feel like my hips are quite open, I don't really feel this. Okay, so you can either just stay here, supported Alanasana, if that's where you're at today. Otherwise, clench your bum, open your legs with your inner thighs and your bum, then take your hands forward. Now, lift yourself, you can keep your hands here as well. So engaging all of your legs and your bum. Lift yourself a centimeter or two off of your block. while keeping that bum engaged, trying to open your legs like a gate. Do you feel the difference? This can be quite intense. Again, we are releasing some of the emotions in the hips. So be gentle with yourself, maybe sway from side to side. Okay, once you've had enough of this, you're welcome to put your block to the side and just flop onto your bum. Our next pose is camel. This is quite a deep heart opener, but we have been warming up for it, so I think we'll be good. So starting from sitting on your knees, then maybe sitting up. To make this pose a little bit more accessible, you can maybe tuck your toes, because then your heels are a little bit closer to you. So we'll only do one side at a time first to warm up. So take your right hand when you're ready in front of you, up and over, reaching for this right heel, if you can maybe reach it. And you're welcome to take this arm over as well. Push your hips forward, a slight, just feeling into this back bend and chest opening action. When you're ready, coming back up, then to the other side. So your left hand forward, up and over, reaching for your heel, pushing your pelvis forward, maybe reaching over, maybe not. Chin to chest roll up when you're ready. Okay, so for full camel, you can keep your toes tucked if that is in your practice. First, just place your hands on your lower back so your fingers are facing down towards your bum. Hug your elbows in, and then use your hands to push your hips forward. From here, remember to breathe, gently bend backwards, and if you feel you fall back enough to reach for your heels, you can. Once you have that connection with your heels, notice that my thumbs are on the outside. You can just relax your head down as well. This is quite a deep heart opener. Maybe feel, once your body and your heart opens, does your mind open as well? If you struggle to breathe here, maybe breathe through your mouth. We are inviting love and healing with a deep heart opener like this. When you're ready, hands back to your lower back. Slowly roll up. It's okay if you're dizzy, maybe sit down for a while. Okay, now to counter that, we're going to move our spine in the opposite direction. So maybe move back on your mat, again sitting on your heels. Now you're trying to put your forehead as close to your knees as possible, so your forehead goes right here. You're grabbing your heels with your hands, and then you are pulling as hard as you can on your heels. So forehead down, bum up, and then grab your heels. This is a very nice stretch. It elongates the spine. They say that your spine is 2 centimeters or up to 2 centimeters longer in this pose than in any other posture. Yoga posture or just daily life posture. And this is a very good stretch. You really have to grab those heels. It also aids your digestion, and it increases your nutrient flow and uptake to your nervous system. Whenever you're ready, relaxing down. Then our last pose, before we completely relax, going to be our last little heart opener. It's called fish pose. So legs straight out in front of you. Then you'll place your hands just behind your bum, go down onto your elbows, and then move your hands in to make a little triangle with your hands, your fingers. And you're really going to grip into the mat. Okay, so this is a chest opener, so you're opening up the chest, puffing it up to the ceiling, and then relaxing your head back. Maybe even see if you can place your head on the floor beneath you. So you are looking behind you. This is opening up the front of your throat, your chest. They say this is very good for the female reproductive system, so to ease your menstrual flow and pains, maybe try this posture. Once you've had enough, chin to chest, slowly roll up. Roll
end today's practice in reclined bound angle pose. So butterfly legs, soles of the feet together. Maybe don't place your feet as close to your bum as you want, but a little bit out. Also feel free to support yourself here. So maybe put blocks underneath your knees. If you have a bolster or a bunch of cushions, you can put it behind your back. Maybe on a bit of an angle, so you want to lie something like this. Otherwise, just lie all the way down onto your back. If this really isn't for you, you can just lie in normal Shavasana, so legs straight out like this. Or you can even place your soles of your feet onto the outside edges of your mat and just rest your knees together. That's quite a nurturing one as well. Otherwise, if you want to join me for bound angle with or without your blocks, notice that here, immediately there'll be a little tunnel in your lower back. We don't really want that, so try to maybe lift your hips, place your lower back on the floor and relax your hips back down. Your arms can either be to the side or on your belly, on your heart, one on your heart, one on your belly, whatever is most comfortable for you. We are closing our practice here, so feel free to close your eyes and really relax. Completely relax into it. Maybe reflect back on this class. Did any feelings, sensations, emotions come up? How did it feel to perhaps nurture yourself, take care of yourself a little bit? Maybe give yourself a hug, touch yourself. Our bodies desires intimacy and touch. That's also part of our feminine energy. So how did it feel to maybe get in touch with the side of yourself a little bit? This is your last opportunity to do a few of those pelvic breaths, breathing in and out from and through the pelvis, if that serves you. Just relaxing, letting your body process what it's just gone through. Maybe observe the mind. Is it stiller now as compared to the beginning of the class? When thoughts arise, that's okay. Just notice them and let them go. Maybe we can end today's class, if you want to join me, with a little gratitude exercise. So giving thanks to yourself for coming out onto your mat today, for honoring your body and devoting this little time to tap into your feminine energy, relax your body and nourish your mind. Thank you for joining me in this class. I really enjoyed teaching you. Then maybe think of 2 or 3 other things that you are grateful for. However small, it can be tiny, tiny, tiny. Maybe put a slight smile on your face. Feel how we invited the love and the healing with our open hearts. You can stay here for as long as it feels safe for you. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.